Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Smite Draft League. Today we have a matchup between the Sugar Babies and Tactical Feeders. My name's Joywolffe, he's Zexous. Let's get into it.
Perfect. Getting locked and loaded for this set already. Excited to see what both these teams can bring to the table. Both strong teams, respectively, and really interested to see how this first game's pick bans are going to roll out right off the gate, already starting with a Thor, a Tyr, a nieshieuchiha, and a Lancelot immediately taken off the table.
Excluding the tier, definitely a lot of strong jungle picks taken off. Ninja and Thor being the recent recipients of some buffs that made them climb to the top of the tier list, and we all know Lancelot. He's been a bully since release, and that's not changing anytime soon. So no surprise at all to see these pick bans.
Definitely, especially with Soul Eater being nerfed, still a very dominant item on some gods. Lancelot being a prime abuser of the item, so will be taken off. Not wanting to deal with that as well. Rounding out the first round ban phase will be Hades, who has had a resurgence of his own as of late, becoming a menace in the Soul Land once again.
Yeah, Hades is absolutely a menace. Late game, having a silence that you can use, I believe, every 8 or 6 seconds, somewhere around there. But a really low cooldown CC. His ultimate, absolutely a force, burning beads and whatnot. What do you take on this Guan Yu coming out?
It's honestly a really solid pick coming off the gate. It's a super strong pick. I've been seeing it a lot more and more recently. A great amount of sustain immediately coming out of the gate with Guan Yu. Has great engage coming off of the ultimate as well, Cavalry Charge, and it's just a really solid character. It brings a lot to the table, and if played to its top potential, it's going to be a problem to deal with. It's a really impressive pick come late game.
Exactly, and given the Fey Blessed hoops Guan Yu can proc oh so easily with his heal, just giving out free shields to everyone. But on the other side, a dominant support in Khepri locked in. Khepri's team fight res through the Scarab's Blessing is an absolute house, basically giving your team a sixth man in the team fight. Looks like we're going with perhaps a Geb instead. Kind of would have liked to see the Khepri here. I think that's maybe not even the Geb, but definitely still deciding on this first and second pick from the tactical feeders.
Yeah, really just trying to figure out what they're looking to go. They do finally lock in the Daji and the Vulcan, so there's your jungle and mid picks already going over to the Chaos side. Daji really just really good engage coming off the Blink inner kit, as well as that Powwow, really able to give those chains if you can hit them, really being able to group up those enemies for a good combo coming with the Vulcan out that Earth Shaker.
Absolutely. If Daji is able to catch somebody out without their beads and have them trapped in that Earth Shaker from Vulcan, that could be absolutely disastrous for anyone's health bar, squishy or not.
Definitely. And especially with a circle that big, it's near impossible to miss off the Powwow pull. So really just making it as easy as possible to be able to get those combos off, and you should have no problem, finding any kills coming off a Powwow pull. But on the other side, Ravana getting locked in, a very strong pick coming against the Daji with that overhead kick, making him CC immune if he is going to get pulled by that chain, as well as the ultimate as well, giving him tons of room to get away from Daji's ultimate.
And not only the Daji's ultimate, but Vulcan's Earthshaker as well. Just being able to immune that huge chunk of damage. Even if, say, you do get pulled in by a Daji Powwow, you can just overhead kick the damage from Earthshaker and get away scot-free.
Definitely. And if anyone knows Nico, you'll know him well for this pick. The Hui will be locked in, playing his staple pick going in, and the response is a Cupid going into the Hui, which isn't too bad of a matchup in hindsight. The Fields of Love being a great team fight ult, but also a good on the 1v1 as well for against Hui, basically forcing him to use the purification beads, or really he's just going to be left a sitting duck for a couple seconds. So really good 1v1 potential for the Chaos Team ADC.
Yeah, I know you're much more knowledgeable about ADCs than I, but I would have to figure that Cupid is able to outbox Hu Yi when it comes down to that Fields of Love ultimate, just being able to lock down Hu Yi, prevent him from jumping away.
I think it really depends because if he can drop the suns on top of his feet, like if he beads drops it and Cupid decides to dash in, he's gonna be stuck taking all that damage from the suns, and the suns hurt. That's an ability you do not scoff at. So if Nico plays it right, then he should have no problem being able to tame this Cupid. But it also works vice versa.
And uh, finishing up the bans for the Order side team, a Kepri, which was flashed by the tactical feeders earlier, I'm really happy to see them take that away. Just if somebody gets dove by Ravana or Guan Yu, as it looks like they might be trying to do, just being able to save somebody from the clutches of near death is absolutely huge. So I really respect taking away that Kepri.
Yeah, definitely. And it's really not something you want to run into against if you can't have it for yourself. The revive just being super annoying to deal with the Scarab's Blessing. So taking that away, not wanting to see it is, a very respectable decision. Topping off the draft though, they're gonna end off with Atlas and Anubis going towards this mid and support pick.
The Atlas, I definitely understand. His ability to CC and displace the enemy team is absolutely crucial. And also having a huge team fight ultimate that can absolutely shred the protections of the enemy team. But this Anubis is a little cheeky to me. I'm not entirely sure I understand what they're looking to do with it. Anubis is really he really immobile. He doesn't have an escape. So if Daji gets up on that pal out, it's going to be really hard for an Anubis to escape. So not really sure why that was picked into a Daji, but it could be interesting.
It could definitely work out. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's actually knock-up immune while Anubis is casting his one ability. So the knock-up from the meatball won't actually knock Anubis up. So there is that to think about in the in towards the landing phase for the mid lane.
That is definitely true. And with that, we will conclude our draft for game one. We'll be right back when we get into the game. Welcome back, everybody, as we get into game number 1 in this exciting set of the Sugar Babies versus the Tactical Feeders. My name's Joywolffe, he's Zexagon, let's get into it.
We're right back into the action, loading into game one, ready to take it to him. Coming right off the bat, I'm interested at the support relics that we're looking at here. On the side of Dracull, we're seeing a pickup of the of Sprint, versus SEALTeamTwo is going for the Frenzy for early, going for possibly early pressure right off the get go on that first wave.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if that will be popped on the first wave. It can definitely be a boon to help you gain a whole lot of pressure, but it can also be saved for if your team is scrapping it up and trying to fight, then there it is, out on the first wave. So we'll hold that thought as both teams just poking each other out.
Definitely poking each other out. Not sure the Frenzy was too well for them, as regardless, Sugar Baby still getting pressure off that. Heart Bomb is going to connect on the Nico. Just gonna have to force him to play back a little bit. Dracull going to go in himself, find a nice little knock up on the SEAL team too. These guys hit level 2 first. They have the pressure right now. They have free reign to do whatever they want. Nico is just going to poke, looking to jump in right now on the Barry. Feel a little bit of damage there. Turns aside to SEAL team, and we'll force them both under tower, and they're going to have free reign in the world to go for that first staff.
Yeah, getting the scepter this early on, or on the first, after the first wave and whatnot, is such an absolute boon to your pressure. Becoming level 2 early in the duo lane can be so beneficial. Having an extra ability over your opponent can just do so much, give it being your movement or more kill pressure. Ooh,
Definitely
danger
for Barry. A big pull coming out of Dracull. Will be able to get his Toggle under tower, so is he able to survive there, but very scary coming out for tactical feeders right off the get-go. As well, looking towards mid, going to be pressured out, locked and loaded, is low, right? Retreating back into mid lane. Knee going to be following suit, but big damage exchange coming out for the Sugar Babies coming out on top. That's going to force tactical feeders on their tower in more than just one lane.
Yeah, Sugar Babies are definitely playing for this early game. They have been pushing every little ounce of pressure that they can get, and so far it's really working out for them. They've been able to kind of do what they want in the duo and mid lane of the game.
Definitely, and as well, they're not too worried about the soul lane regardless. It's going to be go on into RDO. It's not going to be too much of a barn burner over there, as Patroclez is pretty much just going to be looking to kind of get himself to the late game, really try and be a menace in these team fights, as Trollacadimy is really just waiting for his spikes as well, with those Fabless hoops coming out. Really just both playing for late game gods. They're not playing to solo each other. They're playing to be as helpful as possible come team fight phase.
Absolutely. And one of the things I've noticed here is Patroclez picking up that Tainted Steel as his starter item. A wonderful item when you're going into something like this Guan Yu. Picking up anti-heal can be so helpful, and when you're boxing and whatnot, just preventing the enemy soul laner from being able to regen all that HP and stay in lane.
Definitely, and come late game, you're going to find value as well when you're right beside an Anubis too. A very lifesteal prominent god, so we'll find value even after the laning phase as well. So not a bad pickup at all coming from Patro.
Yeah, and we're seeing a little bit of a gold lead develop, although not huge. 300 gold this early is worth noting. It kind of just shows which team has been able to farm the mid camps a little bit more, maybe just who has a little bit more pressure. So not huge, definitely not going to be something that decides the game, but it is worth noting as Frenzy's popped.
Frenzy is popped. Dracull looked like he was looking for a pull, but wasn't able to get it in time, as the tactical feeders dual lane will get back under tower nice and safe, so isn't going to find much else. Dracull right now sitting with no mana, so is pretty limited to what this Atlas can do right now, and might just look to retreat back to get the next scepter and keep on keeping on in this lane as they're just continuously trying to keep the pressure that they've already established.
Yeah, and right now is a good time for the teams to just continue their farm, rotate the crops and whatnot, and just secure all that neutral XP that you can, as we see Soulzc picking up these oracles.
Yeah, definitely getting that extended vision in the Gold Fury pit as well. Never hurt anybody either. Seasney and is going to opt to retreat back to his own red buff, safe and sound, so, and he will probably do the same, more so towards back to his lane. Dodgy going to look for the jump onto NykoMaster, going up into the Palo, looking for the one last pull. Isn't going to find any shots at all. Decides to jump back in, and Nico's ready to fight. A couple autos will do it, and we'll send LokkedNLoaded packing back in the jungle, but does spot out the purple up, so we'll be looking for a little invade. But Nico is already on the case and is going to be following LokkedNLoaded back in the jungle. Soulzc coming. Earthshaker is good. And for the first blood, we'll go to LokkedNLoaded, picking up Soulzc on the Anubis.
Yeah, I saw 4 in the left jungle from the tactical feeders.
Oh, but here comes Nico re-engaging. A very nice stun coming off of the Ricochet into the Suns. Won't be enough damage to clean up LokkedNLoaded, though, so still a 1-for-0 right now on the side of Tactical Fears, but Dracull has joined the party, coming off a nice pull on SEALTeamTwo, but won't be good enough to really secure much. He'll be able to retreat back into his own jungle as well. But coming off MentalDepressed is going to find the beats off of me, and Dracull is going to just look to kind of play the zone game, as that's pretty much going to be all she wrote off that engagement.
Yeah, a nice little pick for the tactical feeders to kind of break that, little bit of a gold lead that the Sugar Babies had. It looked like they were going to bring a much bigger gank. They had 4 people in the left lane. It looked like they might be trying to take out NykoMaster, but not the case, as now they're taking on the Gold Fury.
Taking out the Gold Fury, and SEALTeam is aware of what's going on, is going to try and cause a little bit of havoc for Nico, and the Gold Fury is going to send Dracull packing. But Sugar Babies will actually steal it off of very nice backfire coming off from Knee on this Vulcan, but is in trouble as Soulzc is now caught in the tide. A Palau and a hard place will go down to Barry. Fields of Love going to be cleaning him up, and that's going to send Nico back under his T2 to safety. As Tactical Feeders starting large and in charge with 2-0 on the board, the Chaos side.
Yeah, after watching the enemy team fall to the Gold Fury, you kind of want to press the accelerator there. I love that call from the tactical feeders. Health bars were low, you had them in advantage. That was definitely a fight they wanted to take, and they reaped the rewards of it.
Definitely. And reap they did, as really just being able to clean him up early. As here comes Trollacadimy going to try and find a pick of his own, but lucky enough, LokkedNLoaded does find the teleport off the Patro. Will get himself nice and safe taunt coming off the SEAL team, but Trollacadimy not too worried about what's going on. But a nice gank coming off MentalDepressed, featuring a nice Ricochet coming off of Nico. We'll be able to let him clean up the kill, and that's going to get Sugar Babies on the board.
Yeah, and Hui is just one of those gods where even if he's behind, you have to worry about him being able to solo you if he hits a good Ricochet. So that Ricochet can be lethal no matter where you're at. So Barry definitely has to be careful from here on out.
Definitely, especially with going into Hui that's already got this trans started being stacked, and is only going to hit harder as the game goes on. So is going to have to be aware where he is at his stacking game, as following that early is going to allow Nico to actually catch up to Barry in stacks. So right now, you'd almost give the kill pressure more to Nico versus Trans versus Devos. So
Yeah, doesn't Devos take 75 stacks to stack compared to the Transcendents at 50?
no, they're both to 50 now, so they are the same amount
Okay.
of stacking numbers.
But yeah, this should be a definite close race as both ADCs looking to finish those stacking items.
Yep, and a race it will be indeed, as one will benefit a little bit more towards the late game, but towards the earlier mid game right now is where this trans is going to really pay more dividends to Nico. So if he can really get what his bang for his buck on this Transcendence. He'll be able to do kind of whatever he wants. And here comes the gank coming on LokkedNLoaded. Sun's being dropped. Fields of Love being dropped once more. That's going to gather Nico. But Nico will able to jump at the last second. The Palo will not be able to clean Nico either with the help of some nice jukes. But the re-engage coming from MentalDepressed is going to clean up Barry. He's going to be looking for one more as he does hop on the LokkedNLoaded. A little bit out. Dracull with the very nice long bomb is going to knock him low. A very nice dash coming out, and here comes ultimate coming from SEALTeamTwo, Defender of Olympus, and we'll be able to block that punch coming out from MentalDepressed, and going to be chased off the scene as SEALTeam is going to just chase MentalDepressed down out of his own jungle.
What a clutch ultimate coming out from SEALTeam. It looked like MentalDepressed may not have been able to get the kill anyway, but you just want to make sure the safety of your teammate there. So hats off to SEALTeamTwo, just making sure that his rotation was meaningful, making sure that his teammate was able to get out.
Yeah, definitely really good map awareness coming out of SEALTeam, and really just at the last second coming in clutch, being able to save the life of his teammate and being able to really just do what he can, keeping them off and keeping it close as 2-2 right now on the board as Pyromancer is being looked at by Sugar Babies.
Yeah, they've crept back up in the gold department, so I'm not at all surprised. But Dracull is low, and Patroclez will pick that up for sure. And they steal away the Pyromancer.
Definitely, but LokkedNLoaded has jumped in as Daji. Might be quite a mistake, though, as Soulzc is going to find the big circle, and we'll get one tick, and that's all he's going to need to claim the life. And then once again, Trollacadimy also joins the fight, is going to find one, but Nee comes around the corner and sends MentalDepressed to the grave as well. Going in duo is Nico is going to find a very nice solo kill as well on the Barry. So lots of action happening there, and right off the get-go, you can already tell Sugar Baby's coming out strong with a little one extra, courtesy of NykoMaster, bringing them up top 5-4 on the board.
Yeah, one thing I have noticed though, Dracull is falling very low as he's tanking objectives. There needs to be some communication coming out from the Sugar Babies, just not allowing their support to be that low and just getting picked off so easily after these fights.
Definitely, and if there's one person on the side of the tactical feeders you don't want to give an easy way back into the game, it's got to be Patroclez. What he can really do from the soul lane is be an absolute menace come late. So definitely want to try and keep him a bit more at bay, as very much he does have the potential to do what he needs to do come late to really turn the tides of the team fight.
Absolutely. Patroclez lives for living in the enemy backline and just tearing down the enemy carries. So keeping him at bay is definitely a strong play from the Sugar Babies.
Definitely. NykoMaster going to be jumping in, though. Is going to come right on the LokkedNLoaded. Beat's going to be used, forcing him to come back, retreat back into the mid lane. Pull coming out of Dracull on the SEALTeam. SEALTeam will get the dash back into his jungle, back to safety, joining up with Barry. So, but Goldfear going to be looked at by the Sugar Babies. Dracull is going to be pulling it as well. So, but tactical feeders still around. They still know what's going on here. Coming from the back, LokkedNLoaded too. Is looking at the flank option, has that side covered. Dracull is on the lower end of the side here, so but Gold Fury dropped, and Sugar Baby kind of respecting that they might not be in the best decision, but here comes the blink in onto Dracull, onto the powwow from LokkedNLoaded. Pull is going to be good. Here comes the Earthshaker, going to be a little bit off the mark though. NykoMaster will get a kill of his own, cleaning up LokkedNLoaded. As going towards mid, they are looking to engage a little bit more. A very nice stun coming out from Soulzc. NykoMaster is going to claim it up, securing that double kill for the Huyi.
Yeah, that was a nice little counter engage after the powwow came out as the engage, just still sticking around, waiting till the coast was clear, and then re-engaging. Well played from the Sugar Babies as they now head back to take this Primal Fury.
Get back, but Barry is aware of what's going on. Fields of Love will be dropped, but won't find the damage necessary to be able to claim it away, as Sugar Babies is going to secure it with the Suns being dropped. And that's going to be all there is for it. I mean, they got the Fields of Love, so that gives Nico a little bit of leeway to take more a 1v1 in duo if he so desires, as right now looking strong two levels up on the Cupid, 3-0-2 right now on the Huyi, and then it's only going to get worse from here with how much damage he's going to be able to get built this early on to really get that power spike rolling.
Absolutely. It looks like Barry hasn't been able to back yet to get his second relic, so I think now might be it. Despite Nico being low, he also has that Aussie ready to go, so he's definitely shouldn't be afraid to box if he has to.
Definitely, and you're looking at the Aussie versus the Devos conversation. It does seem like Devos would have the upside, but getting a little bit of extra damage from the trans on the Huyi is definitely going to be the difference maker in a lot of these 1v1 scenarios.
As players are just backing up, returning to base, perhaps spending up some gold. NykoMaster has developed himself a 2-level lead over Barry, so it just kind of shows how he's been able to farm up and dominate in that dual side of the map.
Definitely. And I do want to highlight one thing that we're seeing right now in the builds, actually, is Soulzc on the Anubis right now going into a breastplate here, looking for a little bit of a tankier route, while still being able to lifesteal will be a little bit harder to kill, at least from the physical side of the squad.
Yeah, I find that interesting given that Patroclez is on a magical solo, so the RDO will still be hitting rather hard, but Dodgy should be doing a lot less. LokkedNLoaded will have to pump out a lot more damage to make an impact on the life of Soulzc. Both solo laners kind of just poking each other out, staring each other down, but
Definitely.
Nico is being rotated on.
Gank opportunity for Nico. Still, the SEAL team does join the fight, but Suns are dropped. Gonna clean up one for his life as well. But LokkedNLoaded comes in, rejoins the fight, and NykoMaster, unfortunately, nowhere to go. SEAL team claims up the kill, but still a very nice 1-for-1 exchange coming out of NykoMaster.
Yeah, you have to figure this favors Barry, given that this was a shutdown. But we'll see if Nee's able to steal away this Pyromancer. No, he is not. Earthshaker must have been a little bit late.
I actually think it was a little bit early. I think he pulled the trigger about maybe a second too early, so they were able to kind of stall it out and then hit it to finish off that Pyromancer.
That's always, you know, that shows how well that the Sugar Babies are communicating. Understanding when you hear that Vulcan ultimate that you have to drop the Pyromancer immediately. That way it doesn't get stolen away. Hats off to the Sugar Babies on having good, clear comms in that situation.
Yeah, really just being able to communicate really well on when to drop it and when to pick it back up. And we saw an example of that just now with that Pyro. And, you know, that's why the Sugar Babies get the Pyro and he isn't able to strip it away for his team.
Despite all these objectives going the way for the Sugar Babies for the most part, only a 2k gold lead, which isn't that detrimental at the 8k mark, or 18-minute mark, rather. So, not a terrible lead. Definitely not too much to come back from. But we'll see if the tactical feeders are able to make up this disadvantage.
Yeah, definitely. Looking towards mid right now. Nothing too much to report at this moment. Seeing a little bit of grouping come mid from the tactical feeders. Dracull stands as a lone Atlas right now, as finally gets joined up by Soulzc. Nico really trying to do some damage towards this tower, trying to knock this one down to push Barry a little bit further back in his lane, make it a little bit more scary for him to come up and try and farm. As really just being able to maybe try and take this tower now. Looking towards mid, though, as a nice little 3v3 comes out, but no one's looking to really engage at this moment. LokkedNLoaded only about 50% HP at the moment, so it's looking to get too crazy with any type of team fight.
One thing worth noticing as well, the junglers are at parity. The mid laners are at parity. Only a 1-level lead in the support role, so these mid 3v3s could really go either way if one were to break out, kind of like right now.
Definitely. Which, with that right now going on to Soulzc. Soulzc having to drop, looking to try and lifesteal his way away, and is gonna be able to get Patroclez off him, reinitiating coming off of the Sugar Babies, courtesy of Dracull. Beats getting dropped off of Knee. decides to drop Earthshaker on top, but is going to be enough to clean up. Trollacademy will clean up Knee as well, as they're really just trying to fight in between a bunch of tanks right now, as SEALTeamTwo and Patroclez are holding off 3 of them, as they'll getting joined up by LokkedNLoaded once again, but it doesn't really think there's going to be too much more coming after that. They are happy with the 1 pick they got on the end of Vulcan, and that's going to be pretty much all she wrote. NykoMaster is going to go for this purple buff invade off of Barry. Barry's not going to have too much to say about it, unfortunate for him, but that's just the way she goes.
Yeah, Nico has finished his kin size as while Barry is sitting on a tier 2, so definitely not as big of a power spike as Nico. And Nico also just 3 levels up. That is such a huge detriment to come back from.
Definitely, but here comes Dracull. Dracull's gonna just completely run down Barry, and Nico is gonna grab the kill. Few eyes will send him back to the dirt, and that's gonna be another one onto the Hui. Right now sitting 5-1-2, and after finishing this Kins, he's pretty much ready for team fight phase at this point.
Yeah, they always joke about ADCs, I can't leave lane, I farmed up to 20. Well, Nico is now almost at 20. Man's ready to rotate. He should be getting in these team fights and absolutely bodying anyone who steps in front of his auto attacks.
Definitely, but in a very nice response, the tactical fleeters have started up gold, and Gold Fury will drop no problems whatsoever to the tactical fleeters. At least that's going to bring them keep that gold lead as close as they possibly can get it for now. And looking like this thing just at about a 4K gold lead at this point in the game. So.
And giving up small objectives like those are how Sugar Babies might drop this lead. You have to keep your eyes on objectives at all time, especially knowing that SEAL Team has the frenzy. Tactical feeders could be just burning down objectives and you wouldn't even know about it. Got to keep your head on a swivel.
Definitely, and he doesn't even have to be on the same side of the map to really start an objective. All he's got to do is, if a teammate calls it, you can just drop that Defender of Olympus right there, ult over, and next thing you know, you have a tank ready to just tank it up. But right now, an 80 gauge coming off of Sugar Babies, as the Robin ult does get dropped in, going to be fine, but Sun's getting dropped. NykoMaster claims to go for his own into the Palo, going to be pulling up a few, but isn't going to follow up Nico. B's getting dropped there, right into the back line. Trollacademy going to pick up LokkedNLoaded, and finally getting rejoined by the rest of his team on the Sugar Babies. Dracull is going to find the pickup on the Patro, and they are 4-man trying to take him down, and Dracull finally gets the last hit on the Patro. That's going to send him down, and it looks like they're going to be looking towards this Fire Giant.
Yeah, I really dislike that re-engage attempt from Patro. Unfortunately, as an RDO, you don't have any base kit CC immunity, so unless you have beads, which Patro doesn't, getting CC chained could be a real threat for an RDO.
Definitely, for sure, and a big Fire Giant knockup is going to probably be the bigger killer, the SEAL team, than Nico himself. Going to be handing him down another one. That's going to be the 7th kill going to drop onto the Hui. And that's probably all they're gonna, that's all she wrote, I guess. They're going to go back to pushing up lanes, looking like that T1 on the right side is going to fall pretty easily as well, going for this invade on the Scorpion once more. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it, as seeing some 20s finally being hit, as Nico and Trollacademy both hitting that level 20 mark for the Soul Lane and the ADC as well. T1 and mid will also fall, so really starting to rack up that gold lead right now for Sugar Babies, trying to really establish a bigger lead than the 4K they previously had.
Absolutely, and I think this just goes to show how strong minions are. Minions push up the right wave, take the tier 1 tower. Minion don't have your tank in mid lane, send in the minions. I'm calling it now. Minions OP.
Definitely, minions are OP, and especially if they're not properly attended to, they can really get away with some criminal behavior in this game. So
I've seen some minions just wipe out a Titan. You hate to see it, but it happens. So minions OP.
Definitely. It's always great when it happens for you, but never when it happens against you. kind of like that, exposing the inner Call of Duty logic within Smite, and that's just going to be how it goes. Look at the push down, maybe the T2, but it does get engaged on. The Palo is going to be brought up by LokkedNLoaded, looking for a few pulls. Isn't going to find any, but here comes the Earthshaker, bringing in one, but doesn't look like it really finds too much damage, but Dracull is going to clean up LokkedNLoaded. Daji learned the lesson from the Palo and is going to be sent back to base for that. Running into this T2, Dracull dropping his ultimate as well, going to be used to zone off the rest of the tactical feeders, and this T2 in mid is going to drop like nothing. Looking towards the left side as well, as the T2 on left will also be on the menu for the Sugar Babies. And this one shouldn't be too much of a problem to drop this either, as this will fall as well, and they're just going to be looking to completely snowball all these towers, get all the gold they possibly can, invade the jungle, and take everything.
What do you make of this Ichaball coming out from Nico? It appears to be his only crit item outside of the Diamond Arrow. Uh,
So that's actually not Ichabod, that's actually Failnaught.
Failnaught, you are correct, sorry.
But Failnaught's great for Hui because it kind of benefits what he wants for Hui, and Hui doesn't need a whole lot of crit. Hui will do more than enough damage coming off from the stuns and the ricochets alone. But coming off the passive for Failnaught is just great right off the get-go for Hui. Already going to find tons of value coming out of it, and isn't going to have to worry about stacking upon stacking crit items to get value out of it. With how much this arrow upgrade that Nico's went, when he's holding on to it, he's just gonna find tons of crits without having to build a ton of crit.
Absolutely. As Sugar Babies are now taking down this Gold Fury, and absolutely no contention from the tactical feeders. It looks like about 12k gold down. They know they can't get caught up and step out of line at the Gold Fury, or else they could have some serious problems. Sugar Baby's still with Fire Giant. If you get caught out, Phoenixes, maybe even a Titan could be at stake. So I like the call from the Sugar Babies to not step up there, or tactical feeders rather, to not step up to that Primal Fury.
Yeah, they're in this part where they're really stuck, and you can really see the level deficits really come at them. 3 down in the jungle, 2 down in mid, 3 down, now 2 down in ADC, and 2 down in support as well.
Yeah, and with only Patroclez and SEAL Team being able to finish starter items yet, and everybody on the Sugar Babies being able to finish their starter items if they do choose so, that's just such a huge boon for the Sugar Babies. Those starter items are so impactful.
Yeah, very much true. And with the pause coming in, I think we will shift it over, and we will be right back after the pause finishes. Pause
Well,
on done. We are back with Sugar Babies against Tactical Feeders in Game 1. Once again, my name is Zexous, joined by Joywolffe.
and it looks like Dracull's looking for a pickup onto some of the tactical feeders. This could be a team fight.
Definitely being able to really put Knee all the way so far back that he won't be able to do anything. And then next on the menu is SEALTeamTwo. Tried to get a little bit of peel off of Barry with the Fields of Love, but does not help whatsoever as he falls as well. And 5v3 going on with the courtesy of Sugar Babies going down for this T2 on the right side. The final one, mentally depressed will pick up another as well. That's going to be Knee on the Vulcan this time. And with 3 down, it's looking like they're going towards their next objective once again. Another Fire Giant.
And you already have 2 trebuchets pushing for the Sugar Babies, and one being on the duo lane side is absolutely huge. Forcing Barry over there, there is absolutely zero chance the tactical feeders are able to defend, and right now they have a weakened dual lane Phoenix to go attack, so perhaps that's where we see our next siege take place.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what they're recognizing. They got the fire. I think they're really just looking to strip whatever jungle they can and then head towards that left-hand side to try and take down that weakened Phoenix and really try and get some of these fire minions start pushing down these lanes.
Absolutely. There is blood in the water and it belongs to the tactical feeders. Sugar Babies about 17k up. That's absolutely brutal. Nearly impossible to come back from. And with that weakened dual lane Phoenix, that is the easiest Phoenix to defend. But if it falls, that can be absolutely detrimental for any future hopes of trying to defend a fire giant. So Sugar Babies really could be, they have an opportunity here to really rip this one away from the tactical feeders.
Yeah, definitely. Tactical Feeder's probably feeling like it's a back against the wall kind of scenario. Not too many ways out of this one, unless they can try and find a really nice base defense here to where that they can capitalize after it. It's got to be in the cards. It's got to completely work out. As Soulzc and Mentally Depressed will join each other, pushing up this wave to rejoin their team for this left-hand Phoenix Siege, coming out here trying to take this one down. As once again, Dracull will start firing away, is going to find lockup on the SEAL team, and here comes Cavalry Charge coming out into the backline of Trollacadimy. Engaging with him will be Mentally Depressed, but into the back, Feels of Love gets dropped, will push out the rest of Sugar Babies, but in the back line, further past the Phoenix, Mentally Depressed will pick up one of his own, Locked and Loaded on the dodge, he goes down. As well, going to make it 2 for Mentally Depressed as he's going to pick up another one. Knee on the Vulcan is going to also get dropped, as well as Trollacademy finds one of his own, and Nico going to join the party as well. Going to grab one for the Hui as well, ending him off with a 9 at the moment. I'm looking to drop this Titan. The Suns get dropped once again. Phoenix is going down super low. Patro not able to find any answers to really be able to secure this. Nico jumps in on the Patro. That's going to send him back one last time. And Titan falls down. That's one for the Sugar Babies.
Yeah, an absolutely dominant performance from the Sugar Babies. Just finding a good mid game fight and then absolutely running with the lead that they got from it. Just absolutely had this game in the death grip for the entirety.
Yeah, that's pretty much all you can really say. They played a strong game. Nico pretty much was able to just kind of run the duel lane after Dracull rotated out. Barry wasn't able to do a whole lot against it. Yeah, and then Locked and Loaded wasn't able to find a whole lot of good pulls off the Powwow. Unfortunately, there was a lot of CC immune ultimates he had to deal with on top of purification beads too. So not a whole lot of targets to really choose from in terms of who you're looking to pull.
Yeah, an absolute dominant performance from the Sugar Babies. That was game one. We'll be right back with more action when we hop into picks and bans for game two. See you shortly.
I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof off. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the noose off. And you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guessed. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got heart. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, 'cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me.
Welcome back, everyone, as we get into Game 2, featuring the Sugar Babies and Tactical Feeders. My name's Joywolffe, he's Zexagon, let's get into it.
And getting into game 2, game 1 right off the get-go was being taken by Sugar Babies, going up 1-0 into the set currently. Gonna see how we can see response game 2 from Tactical Feeders as well going into this. Right off the get-go, we're seeing a lot of the same bands. nieshieuchiha, Hades, Lancelot, Tyr, and Thor all taken away game 1. Will be the same story, will be taken game 2 as well, but adding Robin into the mix. So showing that Mentally Depressed did play it well last game, so don't want to deal with it in the next game. But being able to run back Guan Yu and Hu Yi is a little bit of a questionable decision from the Tactical Feeders. Played super well by Nico and Trollacadimy in game 1, and I'm not too sure if that was the play to let them have it for game 2 as well.
There is unfortunately only 3 bans that you have, and they were able to take away the Ravana, but there's just so many strong gods in Smite right now that it's really difficult to just take away all the problematic gods. One thing I do like coming out from the Tactical Feeders, Yu Huang and Charybdis are both some of the safest gods in Smite, with 2 forms of CC immunity each, both being able to self-banish themselves and get out of any CC and damage. Both gods extremely safe, and a comfort pick for Patrick. It most likely will go to him, as I cannot see him giving away his Achilles to anyone.
Yeah, if that Achilles is locked in with Patro on the squad, you gotta have to assume it's going to be going to him. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about with this Charybdis going into the Hu Yi is if you have that Mark of the Crow on you and he jumps on you, you're not going to be able to get into that tides underwater if you're already knocked up into the air. So he's going to have to be really careful with how he plays around this Hu Yi jump, because it can really be a problem if he's not quick on the draw.
Yeah, well, Barry will definitely be put up to the test against Nico on Hui again. Hopefully that votes a little better for him. Sasano, though, I absolutely hate playing against Sasano, but I love seeing him. He's such an interesting god to watch, somebody that can play well on him, execute on, and they can do absolutely massive work.
Definitely, and Susanna being one of those, quick frag characters, really able to just kind of offer a whole ton of burst coming from the assassin role. Really just able to put out tons of damage really quickly, but also have tons of utility in his kit to get away fast. So he's definitely one of those characters you have to watch out for, or he's gonna, frag your backline and before you can even think of what's happening. So
And I love this Ganesha ban coming out from the Sugar Babies. Sasano, if he does get into your backline and Ganesha's able to just sit there and ohm on him, it's almost guaranteed that Sasano is going to get blown up without any ability to escape or return damage. So, love the Ganesha ban along with the Khepri coming out from the Sugar Babies.
Definitely strong bans coming out from them as well. And you once again don't want to deal with the res once again, so Khepri being taken off the table I think is a real smart pick. We're seeing a Scylla ban though, going towards Soulzc. Definitely might have done their homework and might have a really strong Scylla in the pocket, but based on last game, if he wanted to run the Anubis again, I wouldn't hate it. I think he played it pretty well, and if he wants to play it again, I wouldn't be shocked if he did.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something traditional, but if you can make it look good, then more power to you. Absolutely lock in that comfort pick if you're able to perform on it. It just goes to show how hard it is to ban out players like this because they can do something like lock in an Anubis and just absolutely show off. 5 bans isn't enough to ban out some of the best players.
Definitely not, but Vulcan being that last one being taken out, we saw what Nee did on it last game. He had some signs of life with the pick, but ultimately wasn't able to probably get as much damage as he would have liked out onto the Vulcan, but does have the Yu Huang this game, so something I think something that bodes a little bit better for him going into game two. Something a little bit more with self peel with that jump coming off of Yu Huang. Also, the CC immunity never hurt either, so definitely a little bit safer, I think, for him this game versus the Vulcan game one.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, this Ymir is a pick that I absolutely love. Just the ability to completely freeze somebody, force them to use their beads or some other form of purification, and then just watch them helplessly as they run into your wall. I'm not a toxic player. I don't laugh spam, but kind of makes me feel like, yeah, that would be the time to do it. Just watching them not being able to run away. Absolutely a gleeful feeling, as any good Ymir knows.
Definitely, and we're not seeing the Athena run back by SEAL Team. We're seeing the Horus pick up actually, as well as Bakasura going to be going into the jungle for tactical feeders, and I really don't hate it. I think Horus will bring a little bit more pressure to the dual side than the Athena did game one. So I think that it's going to start them off a little bit better to deal with the pressure that they were, struggling to find at the start of game one. As well as the Baka, going to be able to really defend his jungle a little bit better than he did game one. Unfortunately, isn't going to be able to, blink in as a part of his kit for free. So is going to be missing out on a little bit of engage in that regard. But Hera finally being looked at by Soulzc, but once again jumps over to Hell. So
And
interested to see what we lock in here.
one of the interesting things about this tactical feeders draft is Nee is the only source of magical damage, so he'll have to be coming up huge with these abilities to make sure that he is getting that magical damage value. One thing on the side of the Chaos side team, definitely can't neglect to buy magical defense though, as Nee will hit you late game if he gets the chance to. So with that, we'll wrap up our draft and then we'll join you on game 2 of the tactical feeders. And
The Sugar Cuties.
there we go. We finish each other's sentences here in the SDL. We'll see you soon.
See you soon. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back again, right into game 2 of Sugar Babies versus Tactical Feeders. My name is Zexagon, joined by the wondrous Joywolffe.
Hello, everybody, and so excited to get back into game 2. Let's get into it.
And once again, looking towards the builds right away, we're seeing the same story we saw at game 1, at least for looking at the ADCs. With Barry right now going into this Devourer's Gauntlet start, NykoMaster going to be running back the trans on the Hui, so we'll be excited to see how that goes. But so once again, for SEAL Team, we're seeing this Frenzy pick up right away, looking for the early pressure in duo.
Yeah, actually both supports going for an extremely aggressive relic. Dracull picking up this blink, looking to be an engager in this duo lane. I'm excited to see which team will be able to leverage the pressure they get from their relic better.
Yeah, it's going to be real interesting, as one's kind of more of a short-term investment, the other more of a long-term investment, I find. We do see the Frenzy popped right away, and that's going to bode a little bit better for the Tactical Feeders this round than it did in Game 1, right, getting off that level 2 start right away. And we'll find the early pressure going after this first wave, going right in the second, but going over towards Solo, LokkedNLoaded with a very nice gank coming off, and is going to find first blood right away onto Trollacadimy.
Yeah, Trollacademy does have the teleport, so it's not absolutely massive, but he is still level 1, and whenever you're facing a god like Baka or Arachne, gods that are quick and able to get in there, you always almost have to expect that cringe gank, at least maybe throw out that vision shard to protect yourself, but Trollacademy will fall to the level 2 cringe.
Yeah, definitely, and especially like a god like Baka, one of those gods you really don't want to see get off the gate real early on. If he's able to continue this snowball, this Baka can be an absolute menace come mid to late.
Yeah, having a fed Baka on your team is absolutely a joy. No pun intended. You just get to watch him absolutely just run the enemy team through the lawnmower, just chipping them down. I would say little by little, but it's an absolute chunks. Baka fed is a happy Baka indeed.
Definitely, and speaking of absolute chunks, a lot of damage dealt to Barry right there off that double ricochet from NykoMaster in the jungle, trying to pull off that scepter, but are gonna have to take it away, as they might look towards it again. But once again, Tactical Feeders will pick it up and we'll try it, but on the case are the Sugar Babies going to show face and make them back away immediately. Another ricochet coming out, finds a little bit of damage on the Barry, but good enough to make them come back to wave. As Sugar Babies keeping it up there. They're aware of what they're trying to do, and they're not letting them have it for free. But Dash coming in right now off SEAL Team, but freeze coming off of Dracull will stop him in his tracks, and that's going to be all it. But LokkedNLoaded will come and secure off that scepter for the duo side of the Tactical Feeders, looking right towards this purple buff invade on top of that too. And that's going to be taking away from Nico. That's going to give it a little bit. Frenzy popped right away. They're looking for the re-engage coming off of Dracull, going right in off of Barry with the tides, and they're going to be forcing them back under tower. Both of them still decently healthy, so we'll be able to get under their T1 safe and sound, and didn't really lose anything besides a purple buff. They might have lost. No, Nico was able to keep his beads, so yeah, all they really lost was a purple buff. So not too bad of a loss on the side of Sugar Babies.
Absolutely not, and I believe they actually acquired the beads from LokkedNLoaded, but the duo side from the Tactical Feeders isn't backing down. They are still playing this very toe-to-toe. They are standing their ground, and you love to see it.
Definitely doing a lot bigger of an improvement from game 1. Not letting Nico being able to walk up to you and try and hit all these ricochets for absolute free. Soul getting a whole bunch of damage off to Knee right there early on this Hera, and gonna force him to go a little bit closer back to his tower, but not enough LokkedNLoad looking towards Solo. Isn't gonna opt to go for the gank, but will join to clean up that totem, so that'll be going to the side of the Tactical Feeders. As nothing, not too bad if you're if you are a Tactical Feeder fan, going towards the mid lane. As join the round, MentalDepressed is here, but is only level 4. Doesn't have the ultimate quite yet, so what this Susano is able to do is limited at the moment until he does get that ultimate ability.
And this is one of the things you'll see from a duo lane that has perhaps cleared that first wave. Oftentimes they're the first to hit level 5, and leveraging those ults is absolutely massive. Just if being able to catch somebody out in a deadly ultimate, such as, say, the Maw Hungers, could be absolutely huge, as LokkedNLoaded is looking perhaps to gank duo.
Yep, and here it comes, looking to see what's there, but is spied out pretty quickly by the Sugar Babies. Will dilute his attention to this purple buff. Gonna get a nice stun off of Nico. Gonna make that a nice freeze on top of that. Gonna jump, will not complete. The Suns get dropped once again. The wall is gonna lock him into the Suns. NykoMaster is gonna get credit for the kill, but what a play coming off of Dracull on the Ymir.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful of Dracull to realize that Nico still had an opportunity to kill using his ultimate, and just throwing up that wall, giving that last little alley-oop that Nico needed to finish off that kill. Absolutely beautiful work from the Sugar Babies duo lane.
Definitely, really hats off play to Dracull right there. Is going to be able to give Nico that kill, and will definitely help him finish off that Transcendence, so it's going to be able to get him started right away. Trollacademy forced on the tower by Patroclez. Ultimate going to have to be dropped as well to get him under tower safely, as an exchange of ults too. You know, he did lose his strike as well, so and it'll be taken off the board for the Achilles, but are gonna do a little bit of damage towards MentalDepressed. Won't be able to find the stun from Shield Bash, so we'll be safe and sound for now. But Dracull does spot him out and is gonna join the party. Wall gonna be coming out, but won't be aggressing any further than that. As LokkedNLoaded still by, but isn't gonna look to get too crazy with it just yet. Decides to jump back to his side of the jungle, and that's probably going to be all there is to it, as SEAL Team is going to be sucking up that obelisk. So
And what we saw there earlier from Patroclez is absolutely textbook from him. If Patroclez wrote a book on Smite, it would be how to get into the enemy backcams as a solo laner. He is going to live there if you let him get pressure, and that is absolutely what he thrives off of. So you love to see that for him. His plan coming into effect, being able to get into that back camp, maybe not steal any weight, but that's just for now.
definitely. And right now we're seeing in support where I just want to bring this up. SEAL Team starting off with Fabulous Hoops versus Dracull's Gauntlet of Thebes. In terms of support, what are you favoring here? Is that going to put SEAL Team more behind because he's not going something to give as much protections as the Gauntlet?
I will hold that thought as a team fight's breaking out.
A very beautiful wall coming out of Dracull, but just in the nick of time, SEAL Team is able to fly away to Knee, gets him out of trouble, as the Oracles do get looked at by Sugar Babies. And, you know, Tactical Feeders are aware of what's going on, but they're not looking to really cause any problems up until a Gold Feeder might be looking to be pulled. But other than that, everyone looks to be split up. And that's going to be all there is to it.
Yeah, and retouching on the point that you made previously, the Fabulous Hoops is really an interesting item. You usually want something with a little more protections, but it does offer quite a bit of stats, so not surprised to see it, but it could be something else.
Okay, interesting. And then right off the get-go, during that explanation, we also saw a very nice play coming off of Dracull getting the beads off of Knee on the Yu Hong. So that's going to be taken off for the next team fight and going to have to play a little bit careful if he is going to get jumped on, as beads no longer an option right now, at least. And going in, Cavalry Charge will be dropped as well, getting Trollacademy back under his tower, back to safety, as around the corner is LokkedNLoaded, starting up that blue buff, looking for the invade. The good thing about Baka is it is real hard to out-secure Baka here, as we are seeing Gold Fury being picked up by tactical feeders, as he doesn't necessarily need to even drop the buff to really secure it, but super low on the side of tactical feeders. Trollacademy picks up Patroclez, Sun's being dropped, and Sugar Babies are gonna steal away the Gold Feeder courtesy of NykoMaster. And Mentally Depressed as well, gonna find one of himself on LokkedNLoaded. That's gonna send the Baka back to base as well. Gonna be securing off the purple buff for Barry as well. And yeah, that's gonna be it. A nice 2 for 0 coming off the Sugar Babies.
And that is so huge for the Sugar Babies. Absolutely any lead that the tactical feeders had was absolutely erased. You hope that, you know, if your team is getting picked off on the duo or the solo side rather, that you're able to get that objective in the Gold Fury, but to have it stolen away just kind of takes all the wind out of their sails. You know, you weren't able to really get anything from the enemy team being on the other side of the map. That's just, ugh.
That's definitely for sure. And Knee of his own will find the pickup as well. Going to be picking up Soulzc with the very nice help of that Dueling Dragons ultimate. So that's going to send the one off of for the Huang. And a very nice kill to also get, as right now sitting 2 levels up of Soulzc right now. Almost finished up with that Warlock staff. And he's only going to do more damage from here as this Yuhong is really starting to get online.
Absolutely, that was a huge, just good for Knee, just to keep the team's mentals intact. Like, you know, a slight blunder can often disrail some teams, but you know, you just have to keep playing, keep everyone on the happy horse, and everything will be a-okay.
Very nice wall attempt from Dracull. Just a little bit off, was able for Knee to get through the wall just barely, so gets himself back to safety. But Mentally Depressed has his eyes on the red buff, and gonna be knocking that one down. Argus being dropped in the back on the knee. Bede's gonna be dropped as well. Still being chased down by Argus, but it's gonna be Dracull that's gonna clean up the kill. SEAL team decides to try and join him, but won't find much after that. There goes that strike once again off of Patroclez, but will not be able to find Trollacademy as Cavalry Charge is a little bit too fast for the Achilles, as is able to get back to safety.
Yeah, we've seen that song and dance a few times now. Cavalry Charge outrunning the Fatal Strike, but Patroclez won't stop trying if I know him, as both ADCs now boxing behind that tier 1 on the in the dual lane.
Very true. NykoMaster feeling himself, you know, just a little bit too much right now, as he does have to stop in his tracks for that 1v1, as the mini wave does match him in between those 2 towers. 1v1 taken. Barry right now getting a very swifty with it. Maw Hunger is good, but Suns do get dropped, and the chase may not continue from here, as Dracull manages to spot LokkedNLoaded. Gonna give him a nice little freeze, and then here comes Soulzc as well. Gonna get the beads off of them. Regurgitate also coming out. Knee once again gonna toss out some damage, but isn't gonna be much after that, as now it's gonna be Barry in trouble, or going right down into the tide's gonna be able to get away from that polymorph courtesy of Soulzc, and we'll get under tower real nice. And that's gonna be all there is to it. Lots of fighting, but no kills just yet. But right coming from the back is Mentally Depressed right on Barry, but Barry is going to claim up Dracull. Typhoon will clean up Barry, though. That's going to be one for Mentally Depressed. And what a nice rotation coming up for the Susana. We're trying to really just get anything he possibly can, keep it all even for his squad, and making sure Dracull did not die in the name of vain.
Yeah, and as a support, you're always fine with, you know, you may have fallen, but you know, getting the enemy ADC for your life is almost always a trade that you are willing to make. So, you know, Dracull is probably not sweating it too much. But to sing his praise a little bit, I love watching Dracull on this Ymir so far. His walls not only have been on point placement wise, but Knee and Barry both have abilities that let them just get away from the wall. Barry being able to slip into the undertow and go underneath it, and Barry over the Knee rather over the top. So waiting for those cooldowns to come in before dropping the wall Gotta shout out Dracull for that.
Yeah, we've seen Dracull already early on in this game as well, making big plays with that wall as what gave Nico his first and only kill at the moment. But a really good wall there, for example, courtesy of Dracull, who's playing completely crazy on this Ymir right now.
Absolutely. I wonder if the Sugar Babies are gonna try and push for this Primal Fury now. Barry's getting pushed onto the tier 1 tower, and Knee is there in case they do try to go for it, but without an ADC there, it might be a little rough.
And it's going to be even rougher with Dracull right now lurking in the shadows. Barry does seem aware that he is there, but going to be jump coming in. Does actually manage to get into the tie as well, but Bede's age is going to be dropped as he is going to be now being looked at by Dracull. Wall being dropped is going to go right to the out. The Maw is hungry though. He's going to look to stun out. Dracull will find it, but isn't going to find any damage. But later on, Patroclez will find a kill onto Soulzc, but Sugar Baby is going to get pushed out. Dueling Dragon's going to be called forth by Knee. Going to push Sugar Babies further back into the lane. But Mentally Depressed is around. Large and in charge. Is aware what's going on. Typhoon being called. Is going to knock up Barry. Barry going to go right back into tie. Closer back to his tower. But here comes SEAL Team. Support is joined to the party as well as Patrick. Going to force NykoMaster out. Dracull going to get picked up by Knee. But Cavalry Charge is here. Gonna find one, gonna stun out, but Barry is gonna claim up Mentally Depressed as well, forcing Sugar Babies once again back to their tower. Nico looking a little hurt for wear, so isn't gonna be able to find a whole lot of damage going to the rest of Tactical Feeders, but as they're grouping up, they're gonna be looking towards this Gold Fury by the looks of it.
Absolutely, this is a huge chance for the Tactical Feeders to shore up some of that little gold lead for the Sugar Babies. Patroclez on the zone, just making sure nobody gets past as the rest of his team works on the Gold Fury.
Definitely, and Frenzy does get popped off by SEAL Team, but Soulzc is around, and Soulzc is gonna strip it away! As Sugar Babies are gonna steal another Gold Fury from the Tactical Feeders.
That is so brutal to watch. You just, the Tactical Feeders just can't seem to be getting it done around these objectives. That's the second objective we've seen stolen now, and you want it to go right for them, but it's so brutal to see these keep getting stolen away.
Definitely, and brutal comes even brutaler. Argus gets dropped on the SEAL Team, forcing him out, barely being able to stay alive, but if he had fallen, it just would have gotten worse for the Tactical Feeders.
Absolutely. And it looks like we have reached a pause from the teams, so we will be right back when that is over. We'll see you guys soon.
taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the noose off. And you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guessed. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got heart. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, 'cause I'm great at that. Oh.
Welcome
Alrighty.
back.
Go ahead.
Welcome back, everyone, as we get into game 2 of the Tactical Feeders versus the Sugar Babies. We are back.
We are back once again, fresh off the presses with a Pyromancer being dropped immediately by the Sugar Babies. So strips another objective for the boys in red currently, as towards around the map, everyone's just kind of doing their little farm game, and that's really going to be it.
Yeah, everyone just, rotating the crops, keeping things chill and farming. Sugar Babies with about 2K gold lead now, with only 1 kill more than the Tactical Feeders. This really could be anyone's game at the 18-minute mark.
Definitely. It's really just as close as it could possibly be right now. You know, it's only 7-6 in the kill department. A little bit of poke coming up from SEAL Team on the Dracull, but he's going to shake it off because, again, that is a tanky Horus that's hitting him. Shield Bash coming out right away from Patroclez, but nothing else going to come on top of that. Scorpion getting pulled off by Sugar Babies, but Tactical Feeders looking to fight over it, and will do that once again. And right now, Barry forced into the tide, so we'll have to step away as Soulzc is alone in mid, doesn't have really anything else on top of that. Right into the back line, SEAL Team is pushing out MentalDepressed. Dracull fall in love. Black and Mana as well, but right into the back line of Tactical Feeders. Cavalry Charge is going to go right into 3 of them, find a nice stun. Frenzy does get popped by SEAL Team, and here comes that Fatal Strike, but isn't going to find any connection. Dueling Dragon also gets launched towards Trollacadimy, won't find any kills. The Typhoon gets launched by MentalDepressed too, but won't find anything else on top of that either. So lots of ultimate exchanges, lots of abilities thrown out, but nothing on top of that. And towards to the duo side, we are seeing NykoMaster completely running it down, trying to grab a Phoenix for the squad, but on top of that, Tactical Feeders still doing their best to push out Sugar Babies, launch it, and Barry is going to completely drop MentalDepressed. Doesn't even have a chance to get to it, and now Dracull's on the backside. Patroclez will be picked up by him. The Mal also hungers, will get launched as well by Barry, but Barry is on the run, but is having a hard time outrunning Trollacadimy. Will finally get out with the help of a little bit of peel towards SEAL Team, but Argus gets dropped, completely nailing it, but Trollacademy comes back in on the cavalry, and is going to take down Barry. Getting a little bit close on knee, but won't be able to finish him. I'm assuming out of moves at the moment, but he's still keeping his presence known. Is around. Gonna drop a heal back on the Soul, as they are looking for one. Polymorph going to be hitting SEAL Team. Blink coming back in on SEAL Team. Blink's right on the Soul Team, trying to spread a little bit of damage, trying to take out. Fatal Strike will be launched, but won't be good enough. Is running out of time and health, and will be dropped by Soulzc. Patroclez will be heading back to base to think about what he's done.
Yeah, I really was not a fan of that that aggression there. You don't want to stagger your death timers like this, especially when the enemy team could be looking for a fire giant, as now it looks like Steel Team might be next to fall.
What a beautiful
freeze!
What a freeze coming in from Dracull! The blink freeze taking out 2. Gonna make the knee surrender the beads. But unfortunately, SEAL Team has no beads to respond to that as he gets picked up. And it's gonna be give tons of leeway right now for the Sugar Babies to completely reset and look for something after on the next back. But what a play coming out from Dracull.
Absolutely. This man has been just so on point on the Ymir. I'm absolutely impressed with pretty much everything I've seen from Dracull so far. Man is absolutely popping off on the Ymir.
Definitely, and adding it right to his collection of plays, a very beautiful double freeze coming off of the Ymir. Jumping right over the wall is Nico. And it's really strange. We'll see Nico jump in a lot, but nothing really ever comes of it from the other squad in terms of punishing it. Being super willy-nilly with the jump, but is able to kind of do it freely in a lot of cases. And jump being forced right away off of me, so that's going to force him back. Looking for a little bit of poke from Nico, but won't find too much after that. The nice little dance around the fire giant pit. And a nice little freeze coming off a SEAL Team off of Dracull. Going to force him to jump back for a heal. And looking towards maybe try a re-engage. Patroclez looking for a little bit of damage. Doesn't find anybody. Will only find the face of an ice giant. Into the back, though, is Trollacadimy. Has tons around him, trying to look for some damage. And Cavalry Charge is going to be back. I'm Mentally Depressed on the other back line. We'll take out LokkedNLoaded. And Trollacademy taking quite a bit of damage, but we'll still be able to stay alive as NykoMaster will take out Ni on the Yuhong. And that's going to send him back. Mage down. Jungler down. There's not a whole lot of steal potential left coming for the side of Tactical Fleeters, and I think they'll just to concede this Fire Giant as it is dropping fast, and Patro doesn't really have a whole lot to work with in terms of getting past Trollacademy and Mental Depressed. Just completely keeping him out of that pit.
Yeah, Patro forced to back up, lick his wounds, as right now, Tactical Features are taking the Gold Fury, but as it stands, about a 7.5 gold lead, 1,000 gold lead rather, as Sugar Babies are just pushing it down mid lane, right into that tier 2 tower. They are playing as if they have no fear in the world right now.
They're playing in no fear in the world, and they're also playing to get this set quickly and just get out. Almost a pretty pristine wall there, completely closing that Baka in, but gives him a little bit of room to just get his way out. So LokkedNLoaded getting a little bit lucky in that aspect, but does manage to confirm the yellow buff, and we'll get that going. But once again, just looking towards this tower sweep right now for the Sugar Babies. And looks like they're just going to keep on keeping on, looking towards the T2 as well. And right now, it's just Patro around, only able to really stare down 4 strong of Sugar Babies as they drop his T2 in his lane. That's all there's going to be really is for it, as they're going to see a reset coming off that as well.
And this lead from the Sugar Babies has absolutely ballooned up to a 10k gold lead at this point. That is absolutely massive. It's really hard to come back from a 10k gold deficit, and the Sugar Babies aren't taking a break. They have had their foot on the gas pedal pretty much this entire set, and I'm sure the Fire Giant will only ease down on that accelerator ever so slightly more.
Yep, and what we've seen in a lot of these fights is they're really able to stagger the fights out long enough to where a lot of the sustain from Trollacademy on the Guan is really paying dividends to a lot of their success, where they're able to take the fight, then kind of move backwards, chill for a little bit, and then they're able to re-engage. And you know, the heal coming off the Guan is really just putting in work right now for the Sugar Babies, and in terms of these re-engages.
Yeah, the healing from Guan Yu and um absolutely huge, and he doesn't even have a Fablessed hoops to give additional heal or shielding rather. So Trollacademy is just doing some absolute work for his team on multiple fronts.
Definitely. He does have the CAD shield though, which will help with the healing a little bit, but I don't think as much as your traditional Fey Blessed hoops, but will help a little bit. And coming off of the regen of the Fire Giant buff too, will pay a little bit of help as well. Right now, looking towards a siege coming down this left hand side from the Sugar Babies. Dueling Dragons has popped up right into the back, looking for some damage onto Sugar Babies, but won't do anything. Mentally Depressed is completely going hard onto this back line, pushing Barry back. Nico gets his double kill of himself. That's going to knock 3 down of the tactical feeders as this Phoenix finally is going to drop, and they are looking towards the Titan right now. Going right in. Barry right now trying to find anything, but gets froze right out and straight up deleted. NykoMaster credit for the kill. And with that, a lone SEAL team has to try and defend. A triple knockup is good, but not good enough as he gets dropped by Soulzc, and Sugar Babies will be taking the set.
And a closer game from the beginning, but late game absolutely was all Sugar Babies. Just a dominant performance. Again, in game 2, Sugar Babies flip-flopping back and forth at first, but once they really wrenched this game into their control, they just ran away with it.
Yep, they were just able to keep the foot on the gas pretty much, as you put it. From play there wasn't a whole lot of response they were able to do. Early on they had some signs of life from Tactical Fears with an early kill coming off of Locked and Loaded in the Soul Lane, but after that wasn't really able to build upon it, as sitting at his only kill of the game, and everything else just kind of crumbled. NykoMaster was able to do Hui things once again for a second game straight. Mental Depressed had a great game on the Susano, finding lots of meaningful ganks, tons of typhoons, knocking up. And I mean, you can't really leave out Dracull's performance on this Ymir. He was going completely crazy with the freezes, finding tons of value for his team, and really able to turn a lot of the tides of the fight to his team's advantage.
Absolutely. An all-out team performance from the Sugar Babies as they take this at 2-0. We will be headed out for tonight. But thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time on the SDL.
Thank you for watching.